Welcome to Scott's Book Reviews, where thrilling adventures and heartwarming romances come to life, one chapter at a time, of course. Today we're going to be reviewing an oldie but a goodie called Gypsy Blood by Kristy Cunning. Gypsy Blood by Kristy Cunning is one of the first full-on series that I read, so it's a little bit nostalgic for me, and I thought while I was compiling a list of books that I wanted to review, it just felt like something that I wanted to add to kind of look back at it and see how I feel about it. Obviously, my review may be somewhat blurred by time and a sense of just remembrance when I first read it, and it's one of the first series that really gripped me and put me onto the adventurous side of books. I really learned to love the adventure side, and this was also during a time when I was undoubtedly going through a love of harem phase, which I think not everyone can relate to, but I had a reversed harem stage where I felt like I just really enjoyed multiple partners, and the whole dynamic of it. I found it very intriguing, very interesting. Listen, I can read anything in a book and be immersed in it. Real life, too many names, far too complicated. And I found as I read on and read more, that came to be more and more true. I realized I couldn't keep up with the multiple characters, the multiple names. I would continuously forget their backgrounds and who it's talking about. So I did wean off of that after a while, but in my initial smut loving and adventure and fantasy stage, this was definitely one of my staples. It's one of the first series I read throughout, and yes, so it's a fantasy. It's got paranormal sort of sections towards it. There's shapeshifters, it's supernatural, reverse harem, all that good stuff. So I found that I love books that have like a little sidekick, so that the storyline definitely has that. As I said in my previous videos, and I will reiterate this almost every time I do a video, I forget the main characters' names, especially the ladies. I just insert my own name there. That's how I read. So I remember the stories almost to the T, but then the main character, the female's name specifically, it evaporates my brain. It just comes in, it goes out. However, this obviously female character lead, her mother died and she's running an apothecary shop, and she's supplying potions and lotions and all that good stuff to supernaturals in a community, but she wasn't from this community. She's just sort of relatively through family relations, she's a part of this community, and she's definitely supernatural, but it's an element of what type of supernatural is she. The easiest conclusion to jump to is kind of a witch. She also sees the dead. Her sidekick, who is very quirky, very fun, very sexually connotated. She makes all these fun, cute, quirky comments. She is deceased, so she speaks to the dead, and she's just not quite like the others. She's not a vampire, she's not a succubus, she's not a werewolf. You can't quite put your finger on what type of supernatural she is, but you know she's from that community, and obviously her bloodline is descended from that area. And with her mom's passing, she's taken over the apothecary, and she's supplying the locals with their potions and lotions per what her mother used to. And it's really, really a good story. It's a long story. There are quite a couple of books. I want to say 4, might have been 5. I can't remember off the top of my head, but it's around about 4 or 5, and lots of characters. So you're gonna be seeing a lot of different speeches and points of views and talking. But I found it very, very cute. When I read it, it was the perfect entryway. It was there is sexual content, so it's not exactly young adult, but it was very cutesy and a good first timing book, even though it was sexual. So don't let your little ones read this. But it was good, and it has such fond memories. I do want to reread it. I do have a problem though with where I reread books. I will start rereading a book, and it's like it instantaneously the story just comes from the sky. It like shoots down upon me with a bolt of lightning, and I just get all the flashbacks. I get the whole story back to me. So I find it very difficult to reread books. I've actually recently reread A Court of Thorn and Roses, which I haven't read since 2020 as well. All these old books coming back, so nice. And that I think I gave enough time to forget good portions. But because specifically of how this book ends, which I love a good ending, I like an ending with a bang, I just remember so vividly that last book, because I love a good underdog story. I think everyone does, where it's kind of like the least expected, the subtle throughout, and then it ends with the don't mess with me because I'm actually dangerous. And that is what this book is all about. It's this very friendly, very subtle, very darling. Then the end book is like, well, now you're going to see what happens. And the main character is just super like bad A, like just a bad B. She just knows what's going on. She's got it cooking, and I love the ending. So it is a reread. It is something easy to read. I found it, at least back then. Like I said, time does warp things. I would like to reread it, but from what I remember, it's a solid, I want to even say 4. I see on Goodreads is already getting a 4.24. I'm going to give it a 4, but I might reread it and then I'd be like, oh no, it's a 3. But I feel like just from the nostalgia point of view and what I remember, it's giving me 4 vibes. But I would love to pick it up again, consume it again, and just re-immerse myself in that world. Lots of storytelling, lots of adventure. So I hope that you guys enjoy it when you read it. Okay, have a good one and see you again soon. Thanks for watching.